Hi. So I really enjoyed Chris Urmson's TED Talk that we watched for class today. What was really impactful for me at first was the statistics he brought up. I think it was very powerful to see that, yes, there are hundreds of thousands of lives that are lost every single year because of human error. If there's any way for us to alleviate these deaths, that would be huge for those lives, for the lives of those families, and also for the economy and insurance companies and many other factors that go into that. However, I think in the long term, for this to actually make it to market, I think there's going to be many different things that have to happen for that. I think one of the big hurdles that came to mind first for me is the data hurdle. Chris Urmson was saying that they do have many simulations, actually 3 million, I believe is what he said, simulations running a day for this system. However, you're going to need real live data with cars talking to each other constantly. And they have simulated this, but to actually have a true ecosystem happening, the majority of cars will probably have to be these driverless cars, and I think in the near future that's actually going to be quite difficult to achieve. Unless, I think, here's the next hurdle, is they're cheaper than actual other cars. That's another hurdle. I think the technology that goes into it, I have to assume, is probably more expensive than most technology that goes into cars already. I believe that in the short term, they're not going to be cheaper for the average consumer. Google and other companies are going to have to wrestle with this and find new ways to tackle this problem. Another hurdle that I thought of was, what about car fanatics? People who enjoy driving, they enjoy their cars, they want their sports car, it's a status symbol for them. Are we going to tell them that you can't have that car, or are we going to make a kind of a different package for them, or how's that going to work? In America, we don't like losing freedom, so telling someone you can't drive your car, that's definitely not going to go over well. So there's going to have to be a hurdle to jump through that as well. I also enjoyed kind of the back and forth that Chris Urmson was showing between driverless systems and driver-assisted systems. The driver-assisted, while in the short term I think it's very useful, and I think he acknowledged that. He said it was very useful in the interim until we get to this driverless ecosystem. However, I do agree with what he was saying, that we rely on these driver-assisted systems, and because of that, when it is required of the driver to do something, make a decision, they are less apt to do that because they are so used to relying on something. Whereas with the driverless system, the rider is never called on to drive. They're called on to ride. They never actually have to make a decision. So there's a different play there, and the driverless definitely does take the entire human out of the case. If there is an error with the driverless, you can definitely say that it was not the human's fault, and that actually would play a different role with insurance. How does that work? The insurance company can no longer say that the driver was at fault. It was the system at fault. How does that work? And that actually could be a better thing for the end user. I watched Google's YouTube channel. One of the videos that kind of stuck with me was it was showing new riders to the system, and they had not even part of Google. This is their first time ever interacting with it, and it seemed like their experience of it was amazing. They really enjoyed it. There was a blind man who thoroughly enjoyed his experience, and I think that this is a possible solution for this software and this technology. But I do think, though, that as far as the prototype of what the car looked like, one thing I would add is have some aspect of control, some steering wheel there that the rider can look at, or some other aspect of control, because I think in the near future, at least, us drivers are going to have a hard time giving up that control completely. And if we can see what the car is doing, then that will help us allow the car to have control. And then maybe in situations like parallel parking, or parking in your driveway, or your off-roading, things where you can just do it faster than having the computer kind of program it and try to make it happen. Just have some aspect of control that the driver can have. It doesn't have to look like an average car. If Google wants to even change that user interface in a sense, that's fine too. I just think there needs to be some aspect of control with that. But I am encouraged in watching these videos and seeing that this definitely does seem like it's something that could save lives and make just the lives of everyone just much better, and make our economy grow in a sense, because the downtime of waiting in traffic is now actually used in communication, in relationships, and working. Actually, you can actually type up a paper. You can drink your coffee and have a chat with your child on the way to school. You can do so many different things in that downtime because you're not actually having to drive anymore. And that's not something I'm definitely looking forward to, and I am looking forward to hearing all your comments about this.